Yo guys, how's it going? It is the Geeky Gangster here, and in today's video, I wanted to talk about something a little bit different. I wanted to talk about why we love video games in the first place. If you're here, you probably love video games because this is a gaming channel, so I just automatically assume that all of my viewers love video games. But if that's not you, I'll see you guys in the next one. This video probably isn't going to entertain you guys at all if you guys aren't into video games. But with that being said, I do want to take a little bit of a deeper approach on this. Why do we love video games so much? And I think for a lot of us, we got into video games at a very young age. And I think the stigma around gamers today by non-gamers is that a lot of us are young, which isn't really true. If you're in online lobbies, the majority of people you run into are adults and older teens, sometimes like preteens, but it's a very uncommon to run into a so-called squeaker. It depends what game you're playing a lot too, obviously. But with that being said, I do think that a lot of us got into video games at a young age. For me, I don't remember a time in my life where I didn't have a video game console. Growing up, I always had a Nintendo 64 that I used to play with my brothers. Eventually, we got a PS2. I used to play the PlayStation 2 all the time with my older brother. And eventually, I got a Wii, a GameCube, a couple other consoles, the Nintendo DS. But the very first console that was actually my console and no one else played it because it was strictly mine was the Xbox 360. And I know a lot of people watching this might have gotten into gaming at maybe a younger generation of consoles, a younger age. But for me, it was the Xbox 360, and I think it's really all the same for no matter when you got into it. But here's the thing, I think a lot of us love gaming because it was the very first therapeutic method that we were introduced to in our lives. Because if we were born with a gaming console, maybe it was just fun in our early childhood, but once we started, going into older elementary school grades, into middle school, and things started to get a little bit more stressful in life, and you actually had to take some things seriously. We got home and we played those video games, and for a lot of us, if you were flunking school, you came home and you had your video games to come to. If you grew up in an abusive household, you have your video games to run to. If you were getting bullied in school, you could come home and you could have a dozen online friends that wanted to talk to you, and all of a sudden you were the cool kid after getting bullied all day. So it was the perfect release for so many people. And then even into your adult world, that's all you've known so far in life. So you go into your adult world and all of a sudden you have your first job, and your job is stressful, it's hard work, but you can come home to your video games. So I think for a lot of people, it was their very first therapeutic method, the very first thing that they could sort of come home to before they could afford therapy, before they could even know if there was anything wrong with themselves. They just knew that this method really was calming and they could come home to it. It was the very first thing that they could come home to, the very first thing that they could wake up for, the very first thing that a lot of people really, really enjoyed in life. Because, unless if you have parents that are musicians, you're not really going to be discovering bands. You're not going to be playing an instrument until you actually, take classes or whatever. But a lot of people did have a gaming console, so I think that's why a lot of people did have, this very first thing that they could come to in early childhood. So I think a lot of that has to do with that early childhood stage where, okay, I'm getting bullied in middle school, but when I come home, all of a sudden I'm the cool kid because a dozen people want to play online video games with me. And this could go down to a single game that you're good at too. So, For me, my very first year of, high school, my freshman year, is when I discovered Rainbow Six Siege, and I find it still to this day to be my favorite game. And I wonder if that's just because it's a good game, but so many other good games came up before that and after that. So why has my favorite game for 4 years been Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege? Well, I discovered it in my freshman year, a time that was really not good for me. I was flunking almost every single class. I didn't have that many friends. But when I came home, I had this, console that I could come to, my Xbox. And when I got on Xbox, there wasn't very many games that I was good at, but there was one game that I was really good at, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. And on top of that, back in 2016, back 4 years ago, everybody was talking in these online games. There's 5 people on each team. It was easy to get invited to a party. I found so many people off of that game. So I think it was that kind of still leads me to play it to this day. And I think that's what it is for a lot of people as well. But let's pretend that none of that fit you. None of that fit your description of why you love the video games. Then let's take a deeper look. In pretty much every single major video game, there's either a currency system or a way to level up, or it's a single player campaign to where you're working towards the end. And what I'm really trying to get at here is you're always working towards something. You're always working towards the next step. So that really keeps you in, because you always have to work. Otherwise, you're never going to get something completed, or you're never going to get better at the game. So you have to keep on playing it. And, so with currency system, you have to earn more currency. You have to get these new items. So you always have to build yourself up. You always have to get better at the game. I love playing sports games like 2K and Madden. So for people who do like Madden, FIFA, 2K, MLB, there's my teams, so where you build up your own team, whether that be Diamond Dynasty is what I'm pretty sure it's called in MLB, or my team, or Mutt as it's called in Madden. But that's besides the point. What I'm trying to get at here is when these sports games first come out, and August is when Madden comes out, I always get them right away because I feel like I have to build up my team. I feel like I have to make my team good. I love the grind. I love getting to the top. I love ranking up. I love knowing that I'm amongst the best players. I just love that feeling of ranking up, of getting better, of improving myself. And it's so rewarding to play video games. Every video game will constantly reward you, because at that point you feel like you're leveling up, you're going up, you're getting more money, you're getting more XP, you're getting more reputation, you're getting more, whatever it is in that game. So it's constantly the ranking up, the getting better aspect as well. And if you combine the currencies in most of these games, because most AAA titles in multiplayer will have virtual currencies, whether that's an FPS, a battle royale, a racing game, will have currencies to where you can buy things, and you have to constantly get more currency. And a lot of times gambling is also involved in, loot boxes, or in GTA's case, they literally built a casino so you could gamble. And we all know that gambling can be addictive. So on top of the currency system and trying to build yourself up and them constantly rewarding you, so you're constantly feeling like you're doing something good, you constantly feel like your time is valuable, in these online games. On top of that, they also have addictive gambling traits inside of them. And the worst cases where they literally build casinos where you can gamble at. And then going back to the sports games, they literally have packs to where if you pull something good, it could really help you. So you constantly have to earn money, because unless you want to spend your real money, which I don't, you have to constantly grind and earn money to buy packs, to go into the casino, to gamble it, because it's an extra addictive trait in it. So you want to gamble, you want to buy these packs no matter what. If you know it's not going to help you at all, you still want to buy something, because if there's a 1% chance that you could hit the lottery, you want that 1% chance. And it's the same thing in the real world as well, where you see the Powerball, the Mega Millions, etc. You know, you have like a 0.00001% chance of winning $500 million. Well, to you, you just see that $500 million on the sign. You don't see your chances and that big bold number on the sign, you know, and the actual window. And it's the exact same thing with a lot of these online games. You know, you don't see your, you might see your chances, you might know your chances, but what you really look at is that, oh, if I get this item out of this pack, then I'm just going to be so much better at this game. And even if you pull that item after spending real money, or out of luck, if you pull that item a week later, you want a new item out of the exact same pack, out of the exact same gambling system, because it wasn't really the item that you were after. It's just you loved the gambling aspect, which isn't your fault. It's literally an addictive chemical. It's an addictive trait. So anybody who implements gambling is automatically trying to get you addicted, so you're spending more and more and more and more money, and spending more and more and more time trying to chase that. Tell me, comment down below in the comment section, name a game that had a gambling section, whether that be loot boxes, whether that be GTA's casino, that you never once opened a loot box of. Because I couldn't tell you one, to be honest. You know, I've played 2K, Overwatch, Fortnite, Apex, Call of Duty is a really big loot box game. Battlefield. All of these games that have loot boxes, I can't tell you a single one. Even if I'm not a huge fan of the game, at least I didn't buy a single loot box in. Even if I didn't like the loot boxes, really, I still bought one. But yeah, so I think it was this building up with the currencies. You're getting more as you go along, and you constantly want to chase more, because God forbid, if you fall behind, if you take a break, then you can never get into that game again, because you're going to be behind everybody else. And on top of that, they purposely put addictive traits of gambling into their games. Almost every single major multiplayer title does. But anyway, guys, I think that's the end of today's video. If you guys enjoyed, please hit the like button down below, comment your favorite game, and don't forget to subscribe for future gaming content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!